is this guy going in the middle of the road? Okay, did you see that? That was nice. Guy was in the middle of the road, had a map, looked like a map from the 90s. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another full self-driving video. We are now on single pull. Let's go. Hope everybody's having a great day. Cybertruck was released. We're gonna take a quick trip across town. Guys, we're still running 11.4.4. We're on hardware 4. We did get an update, not on full self-driving. Little clarification, everybody who's running hardware 4, that's the vision only hardware. So if you purchased a vehicle around the summertime of 2023 or later, you are most likely running hardware 4, which means you are only operating on cameras, no radar. As we come to this intersection, we're gonna yield for this nice vehicle and continue. So we're on hardware 4. We are running version 11.4.4. You may see, if you follow full self-driving news, that there's version 11.4.8 on hardware 3 vehicles. The consensus is that it's a better experience than 11.4.4, which we are on. So there are multiple tracks of development. This is all going to change, of course, once we get to version 12. Version 12 is going to be all vision based, no radar, but some of the hardware 3 models still are on that different path. But so we did get an update in just software with some minor changes, including the single stock pull, but we're still the FSD software is still the same. So we're heading across town here. Nice sunny day, clear. Cybertruck's been released. What are my thoughts? You want to know? I think it's fantastic. From what I can tell, it looks like a great vehicle. I do think if I'm going to purchase one, as we stop here for a yellow light nicely, yeah, if I'm going to purchase one, I would get the dual motor with the range extender. That seems obvious. You use up about a third of the bed of the truck, but there's still plenty of space to store and haul things. I think a lot of people don't use the bed of their truck to haul a ton anyway. As we're driving here, if you count the number of trucks you see on the road, as there's a police officer, please pull me over. Yeah, you look in truck beds all the time, there's not stuff in truck beds. People aren't hauling stuff all the time, so how much do you really need? How much space do you really need in a truck bed? I don't need that much. Put a topper on it if I'm moving things, don't want it to get damaged by the rain. I would want the topper on the Cybertruck, but I would want a topper on any truck. That's the disadvantage of an open bed if it's raining out or snowing. Now, if you're working on a farm and hauling manure and things like that, then yeah, I guess you just get it really dirty. You don't need a topper. That's how people operate. But I think that's a pretty small minority. I think a lot of people that are buying Cybertrucks are probably not going to be putting them to work on a ranch, but we'll see. Now, the other use I think that's great for a Cybertruck that people are not talking about is law enforcement. You have a bulletproof vehicle that's faster than pretty much any other vehicle on the road, all-wheel drive, great handling. Yeah, I think law enforcement could use the Cybertruck for sure. I mean, it's essentially an urban tank. I mean, not a full tank, but you get my point. It's the beefiest vehicle on the road. Now, if you're in a rural county and you're a sheriff deputy and you're driving, 200 miles a night patrolling all on rural roads, maybe you run into some range issues. But then again, if you got the extender, if you got 450 miles of range, what law enforcement is driving more than 450 miles a night or a shift? I don't know, you tell me if you're law enforcement watching this. 450 miles, that seems like a lot more than you drive in shift. Now, the issue would be if you're in a pinch and you need to get somewhere fast. Right now, if you're driving an ICE vehicle, you can just fill up at any gas station. If you're out in rural, wherever, maybe there's only one supercharger within 100 miles of you, and maybe you've got to get back to the station to charge. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's an issue for law enforcement, but for, I would say, 95% of patrol vehicles that are just either patrolling in town or not going more than 100 miles a night, get a Cybertruck, deck it out. There will be a city that does that. Probably a city versus a county or a sheriff, but I bet a municipality could buy 2 or 3 Cybertrucks and put them to good use. I certainly would feel safer if I was a law enforcement officer, that's for sure. Bulletproof. Nobody's throwing a brick through your window during any riots if you're in the Cybertruck. So yeah, so far really good, smooth drive. Not expecting anything too different. We're on a pretty clear, straight road here, and I've been getting pretty used to full self-driving to the point where, yeah, there's times like for the last 2 minutes there, I don't really even have a memory. I mean, I'm paying attention, but I don't really have a memory of what just happened because, yeah, I'm trusting in the full self-driving to a large degree. And again, it never makes me feel unsafe. It makes me feel sometimes like it's going to be too cautious. Maybe it's going to stop in an intersection because it thinks a car's going when it's not, or it's going to be overly nice in changing lanes, whereas humans would be a little more aggressive. But I never think it's going to get me into an accident. I saw an update recently that I think was on a hardware 3 model where it was picking up animals, geese, and that's something I want to be testing in the future here, because yeah, if we're going to get to a point where we are full end-to-end as good or better than a human, we've got to be able to pick up objects that are anything from a dog, cat, geese, a box blowing across the road. We got to be able to pick up all kinds of objects. The other thing we got to be able to pick up is potholes. And right now, if there was a giant pothole in the middle of the street, I'd drive straight. FSD would take me right through the pothole. It's not going to pick up that pothole. It's barely picking up speed bumps. Maybe 50-50 it picks up a speed bump. So it's not picking up potholes. I think version 12 will pick up potholes, but we'll see. But yeah, some of the things that are fantastic about full self-driving, the vectors, turn vectors, beautiful smooth turn vectors, staying in the lanes, beautiful when you have marked lanes. The reaction if you're at a light to go, better than humans. Always keeps appropriate distances with vehicles. Nice smooth stops and starts. So they've solved a lot. They've gotten better than humans in a lot as we're overtaking another Tesla here. AAAAGP. Quadruple AGP, said the license plate. Quadruple AGP. Grandparent? 4A grandparent? I don't know. So yeah, come a long way. This is a beautiful product. We're going to keep testing it. Of course, there's issues. That's what we're doing this testing for. We got to find the issues. We got to make version 11 better, and we also have to continue to gather data for the supercomputer for version 12, which is what we are doing right now. We are taking this data and we are sending it off to the supercomputer to be processed ultimately for version 12. Now let's see if we're going to go straight here or turn. I think it's going to go straight. Nice lane change. Kind of close to this vehicle on the left, but it's a tight spot. See, here's what I mean. We're inching through that intersection slowly. I mean, we got down to 15 miles an hour. Now, no human would do that. Now here's interesting. We're changing to the right lane, but we're going left. So what are we doing here? Now we're going back into the left lane. Now we're gonna go back another lane. So that was a totally unnecessary lane change to the right. And now we're kind of sitting cattywampus in this left turn lane. Now we're creeping. The guy behind us is upset. We're gonna hit the accelerator. So there's an example of a time where I don't feel unsafe there, but the guy behind me is like, what are you doing? Go. The computer thinks maybe this car on the left is gonna cut in front of me, so it's being extra cautious. And that's a perfect example of like, yeah, I don't feel unsafe. I honestly don't feel embarrassed either. But I mean, a person maybe would feel embarrassed there. You got a car behind you saying go. It's just sitting there being extra cautious. Great example. And also, but that lane change, why did it go to the lane to the right? It knew that we were turning in like 300 feet, but it goes to the right lane and then had to cut across 3 lanes of traffic to get all the way to the left turning lane. That was not the best moment. Here again, very cautious of this vehicle on the left. It wants to make sure the vehicle's stopped. A person's just gonna gun it there. That's okay. Better safe. Now, I don't think version 12 is gonna do that. Version 12 is gonna drive as humans would drive based on human-driven input, and that'll be a game changer. Elon tweeted out, X'd out a few weeks ago that version 12 is going to come in a few weeks, and everybody's like, well, where's version 12? Why is this guy going in the middle of the road? Okay, did you see that? That was nice. Guy was in the middle of the road, had a map, looked like a map from the 90s, out, just wasn't watching. He's veering in the middle of the road, full self-driving, started correcting to get out of the way. That was very nicely done. I was ready to take over because it appeared we were going to go for a head-on collision there, but did a nice job of getting over. Why is that guy reading a map from the 90s? Unbelievable. Like full-on map in front of the windshield. And people say in the comments, oh, you're driving full self-driving, get off the road, it's not safe, it's not safe. There you got a human driver with a full-on 1990s map just in front of the windshield. Anyway, so Elon said he was releasing full self-driving in 2 weeks. This would have been like a week or two ago. It went to some employees in Tesla. Now, some people ask, am I an employee of Tesla? I'm not an employee of Tesla just yet. All right, so this is another spot where you see we've got people on the right here. It is picking up those people. I always like testing this area because there's a crosswalk there, and one of these days there's going to be a person sitting at that crosswalk, and we're going to get a nice test there to make sure it stops. All right, now pay attention to this little road here. This road is not marked. I talked about how good lane markings were before. This nice windy road is not marked. I test it all the time. Watch, FSD's gonna go too far to the middle here as we're coming across this hill. Well, not too bad actually. I will eat my words on that one. I don't know if it got corrected or what. It is showing this seems new. It's showing a dashed yellow line. I mean, I sent feedback to Tesla this morning, and it's better now than it was this morning. That's interesting. Sometimes when you're going over a hill in an unmarked, a road that doesn't have lanes marked, it'll be too close to the middle and make you nervous, like you're not going to get enough time if somebody comes over the hill in the other direction. So sometimes you have to take over, but that was interesting. That handled it well. Anyway, we're reaching our destination. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I'm going to stop right here at this stop sign, end the video. See you guys next time. Appreciate you following along.